welcome to my video today. I have two layouts that I want to share with you. I want to share with you how to take one type of layout, one maybe sketch that you have or layout that you really like, and I want to show you how to make it both a little bit girly and then a little bit, more masculine. I think it's hard sometimes to do layouts that are more masculine or have a boy feel to it because there's so many fun products that we use for girl type layouts or, pretty layouts with flowers and hearts and all of that. So I want to start by sharing with you this layout here that I did of Violet. Now I did this yesterday with my Life Simply Documented group on Facebook. This is the layout that I shared with them, and I did it in a live and we went over a few things, and it's a violet and it's really this very pretty like floral layout. It has flowers and butterflies and all of that. And so I wanted to take this sort of same design, if you will, and I wanted to do a layout of Andrew and some photos that I have of him. So with this layout, it was very basic. I had a not 4x7, but a 5x7 photo of Violet. I started with some pattern paper on the back, a piece of, colored cardstock, a pattern piece going down, and then the journaling, and then the 3x4 like filler card, and then some butterflies here and some flowers here. And what this creates is basically a square right here. And so that's what we're going to do with Andrew's layout, because I have more photos of him and they're in a different size. So the size of your photo doesn't really matter. You can take whatever size photo you're working with and make it work for the sketch that you're using or the layout idea that you're using. Or sometimes I just have some really, some of my favorite layout designs that I like to go back to because they're quick and I can do them and they motivate me. So this could be one of them. So all I've done here is for this layout, I'm using some pattern paper. This is Vicky Budin pattern paper. I just got a couple sheets of it on scrapbook.com. I liked the colorful circles of it, and I thought it would be fun for some layouts of Andrew and different things. So I had two pieces of this pattern paper, and this is the back side, this black piece here. And so I took a piece of pumpkin pie 12x12 cardstock from Stampin' Up, and that is my base piece. Sometimes what people will do is, because this pattern piece covers up most of this pumpkin pie piece, a lot of times people will cut out the middle of their paper to save that and use it on a different project. I don't do that because I actually like the way that it makes my layout a little bit more sturdy, and I'm sort of never worried about saving scraps like that. It doesn't feel worth it to me, but if you do, you can do that and it can help. So the next thing, I have a whole bunch of stuff laying on here that we're gonna get to. But what I've done for the photos of Andrew is, see his photos, they were 4x6 and they were horizontal here, all three of these photos. So this one I cut down to 3x4. This one I cut down to 5x4, and because I didn't have maybe a larger photo, or I had multiple photos of Andrew and then I didn't have multiple photos of Violet, it was just one large photo, that's how it's going to be a little bit different. And then what I've done here is I took these two stamps. These are both from Allie Edwards. I get her story kits each month, and so I have lots of different stamp sets over the years from Allie. I think I've been subscribed to her story kits now for 4 or 5 years, and so I pulled out both of these stamp sets that say Brave, and then this was my inspiration for the card. So originally I was just going to use this card here, which it would have worked. The colors worked fine, but I didn't really think like that this is strong. I don't know, I just didn't really like it. And so I just took my stamp set out and then I stamped a whole bunch of different spaces on here that say Brave and just different items from the stamp set. If you notice right here, I'm going to point this out to you. I stamped that stamp upside down. It says awesome, and it was stamped upside down, and I had about 90% of this card finished and stamped that upside down and was a little bit discouraged and thought, should I start over and re-stamp the whole card? But I had really liked the way that it was turning out, so I just left it, and I'm totally not worried about it. So I have this now. This is 8.5 by 8.5 is the Pacific Point cardstock underneath. I did trim like a slim strip off of there, just as you can see it right here. See how little that is? So I just measured, and it was about 8.5 by 8.5 is what worked. And then as I placed the cards on there, there was a little bit more of a border over here. So I just trimmed a tiny bit off. Wasn't a big deal, and I encourage you to do that. You know, don't worry necessarily. Sometimes the measurements, we just eyeball things, or we just guess at things, or we trim a little tiny bit off. So I just added some foam to the back of this, and I'm gonna pull all of this off, and then I'm going to place this down. Okay, so I want this to go right here. But before I do that, I do have these 3 flags here, and I want them, what I'm realizing is I didn't leave a lot of my foam. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. I didn't really leave a lot of my foam, a lot of room to put something underneath there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to lay this down slightly because I want it right here, just like so. Sorry guys, I just got a delivery. So I'm gonna lay that down because that's about where I want this. So it's always good, you can just, and I'm gonna press this side down. And then before I press this side down, I'm just gonna slide these flags. And all I've done with these flags is I've just made a flagged piece, and then I've put a brad in there just as another element. And I'm just gonna line these up, and then I'm gonna use that foam to hold these in place. And that's probably a harder way to go about doing this, but before I press everything, I can line it up. You can see I have a little bit of wiggle room, and then I can just press that down like so, and then I can add a little bit of adhesive to that. I can just use a little bit of liquid adhesive. I'll just use this punch to keep that down while that dries. And then what I've done is the same thing I did with these flower images. Now this, I just took a flower punch and I did these little embellishments here. I used pattern paper and did the same thing I'm gonna show you how to do here with these. So this is some paper that I have left from that pattern paper. And I'm gonna show you with a smaller one. But all you do is you take and you punch your pieces, and maybe I'll be able to get a set of 2 and I can use them. And then what I've done is I just take these. I actually have some smaller ones too. So let's take this orange one and this blue one. I just like to kind of match up some of the colors, and like this. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to smush them up, and you can do them individually, and you're just going to pinch them together and smush them up. going to do is unsmush them. And if there's like a spot on there, like that side didn't really get a lot of folds and bends in it, I'll just work that area. And then you take the smaller one and then you just layer these. Now I've layered them with brads. You could glue them together and then add like a rhinestone or something in the middle of them. Brads I know used to be really popular. I have a lot kind of laying around. But if you can't find brads, then like I said, you could just do an embellishment in the middle. You could put a button in there and use some thread and sort of like sew that button in there. That would be cool too. So just lots of different things you can do with this. So I'm adding my brad. Open that up. And then I kind of smush it together again to add to that so that the middle one or the second layer sort of stands out a little bit more. And so these three, what I'm gonna do, I've inked the edges of them and I'm gonna stick them right here on the edge, just like I did with Violet's layout. And I might add these other two smaller ones. Since I made them, I think it might be cool to add them. And you could do either side of the paper. You could do the black or the colorful side. So let's do that same thing. And I just love the color, the layered colors on there. And that was not, this brad is not gonna be in the middle of my embellishment because I was not paying attention there. But that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. So maybe I'll put two up here and just layer over that flag. And then the way that I like to attach these is I like to do that by dimensionals. Dimensionals tend to have a really good way of kind of sticking up here by the brad part. And I like to put 3 or 4. The flowers I did yesterday only needed 3, but these probably could use 4, and then you can layer these together. So let me get those in the corner. Okay, and then you can see I layered that a little bit over the actual photo. Now my journaling is gonna go right here, just like on Violet's layout. And this is going to be able to tuck a little bit under those little round pieces. Just like that. And then I have a wood veneer, which I used wood veneers on Violet's layout. It says tough times. And then I do think I like this up here in the corner, and that gives me 5 of these embellishments, which I really like to do things in 3s or 5s. That's what tends to work best for me, and I like the way that that looks on layouts. So that's going to give me that element of 5 of these little circle embellishments. And then there's 3 of these flags, which is nice. Just like so. That's going to frame it really nicely. The only other thing that I have on here is this little wood chip piece that just says all the feels. It's in gray and black, which the gray sort of pulls this out a little bit. There will be some white right here. This will be white journaling. The other thing I could do is I could swap this piece out for gray, which I might do that to pull this in here. And then I would feel like I would just want another piece of gray here. So I think I might do that because I do want to use this chipboard piece. So let me go ahead and put this chipboard piece on here. Let me grab my journaling and some gray cardstock, and then we will finish this layout up. I swapped out the journaling here for the matted part under here with gray instead of blue, which I think makes a really huge difference. I really like it. I also shortened it up a little bit so there was a little bit of the color showing. My Tough Times wood veneer, I just took Memento black ink and a little sponge dauber, and that's how I made that black. It's not dry yet, so I did get a little bit on my fingers when I was attaching it. I attached it with glue dots because it's going directly on a photo. I didn't want to put liquid glue. Usually I would use liquid glue on my wood veneers, but because it was going directly on a photo, I didn't want to do that. I added a strip of gray here. Now, I realized when I did this that this block here is not straight. It's not as straight as it could be. I was more focused on the flags than I was making sure it was straight over here. If I could pull it up and fix it, I would, but I can't. The other thing is that when I'm doing this in the camera, I'm really far away from this layout, so things don't always get exactly perfectly straight, and that's okay. It's just something that I will deal with. So then I had this up here, which you guys saw, and then my circle here, and that is the layout. The ink colors that I used to stamp this are these colors here. I used Crushed Curry, Cajun Craze, and Pumpkin Pie to go with I knew I was going to be doing blue on there, and so I wanted yellow and an orange like as an accent. So that wraps up this layout for Andrew, and then I'll show you one more time the layout for Violet. These will go into their individual scrapbooks. I will add the date. This one here with Andrew is one where he had to have some dental surgery, and I will probably stamp right here with a date stamp that just says the date and the year. And then same thing for this one with Violet. I'll probably just stamp a date stamp right down here that just shows at least the year the photo was taken. But these are very, very similar pages, and they each have a really different fill. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing these layouts. I will have photos on my website. My website currently today, as of January, what's today? As of January 21st, my website is currently being updated, and I can't quite get in there to create posts. So my Tuesday post and my Friday post here have not seen the light of my website yet, but they will by next week. I'm sure that they will be up, and for you guys to see. You can see photos of this. I will also pop photos of both of these layouts onto my Facebook page, and my new website is just KatinaMartinez.com. Super simple for you guys to remember, just my name.com. So I hope to see you guys over there. I hope you will take a look at the website once it's all updated, and I will be back next week with more projects for you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will chat with you guys next week. Thank you so much for checking out my videos. Here on the screen, you're going to see 2 other videos that you can check out. I would love for you to do all the YouTube-y things, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell so you get notified whenever I post a video, and I will catch you in my very next crafty video.